Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jai. Our volume has been muted. Volume is muted. It seems.
ശരി ശരി ഓക്കെ.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai
No,
Jai
here.
Ram.
It's got pin. We'll unpin.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram
Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om. So yesterday we were going through from 49 to 57. Yesterday we were going through 3, 4. Any particular point anybody remembers?
Fearlessness and being gentle. Mansion. Fearlessness.
Eh?
Detachment.
Detachment is one.
What detachment?
Mind detached.
Those are all terms, academic. What do we understand?
Bhagavad Gita, at the end of the chapter, is giving us freedom to follow.
Is giving freedom. Yatechasi tatahuru.
Krishna is declaring that the solution is given for the beings, but it is up to the human being to take over.
That we have not yet come, that is in 63. After this, unless we go through the text again, we will not remember.
Swamiji, that knowledge.
What knowledge?
Knowledge reaches consummation when nothing outside affects us, our fullness inside.
Karma sannyas, Swami.
We were discussing, we were reading the commentary from 49 to 57. What you said is right, detachment is there, but what does it mean?
Vyakti bhuta to Brahma bhuta. Asakta.
That means, we get stuck with certain words. That is not what is needed. Something that is related to our workaday life, what do we remember? We carry
while doing the actions in our day-to-day life, while doing the actions in our day-to-day life, we have to focus on the source.
While doing our actions,
simultaneously, while doing the work, simultaneously we have to focus on the source.
Did we say that yesterday?
Yesterday, it is a general. Yesterday, art of handling the sense of
Detachment
addiction.
is a sign of a sannyasi.
Eh?
Detachment is a sign of sannyasi.
We are not sannyasis, What is it? How is it related to us? We should ensure that we don't slip into academic exercise. Because for us,
remain detached in spite of doing all the actions. Not getting involved. Do all the work but remain detached.
we are going nearer to it. A little more clarity. We carry the burden, but we don't feel the burden.
Work like a top.
That is how, that is something practical, We carry the burden, it is inevitable, but we don't feel the burden. That technique somehow we have to develop. We involve ourselves in so many activities, but we keep the equanimity inside. How to do that? Each one of us has to try. Just because Lord Krishna has said we will not be able to do it, we have not been able to do it all these years. So he makes us to think. That is how he started yesterday. He was quoting, Janaganadanji was quoting. People, ladies who were carrying water on their head. Madka after madka. But still they will be joking, talking, That means even though the water pot is there, water pots are there on their head, still they don't feel the burden. So that is how he began actually. Like that, whatever that is applicable for our day-to-day life. We are trying to understand how Gita helps us in our day-to-day life. We are not concerned about shloka by shloka, meaning by meaning. But though we need some framework, so that's why we are reading it. And anything else? Did you remember the word enter?
Enter into silence. Become silence itself.
Enter into supreme grace. Silence.
What does it mean?
We have to make our mind still.
Because he says in one sloka,
before entering into any action,
Vishade tadanandaram.
Before entering into any action in day-to-day life, for a few seconds we have to make our mind still, then proceed with the further. Shloka number 55.
entering into, no? You will enter into me. So how do we understand, no? So even in that silence, it is not that straight away said enter into silence. Before that, so many things, The aim of your life is silence. The purpose of your life is silence. Like that, we built up. And then, when the mind has become receptive,
become silent. Become silent.
Later, we did lot of preparatory measures. Similarly, then only we can enter. Otherwise, we cannot enter. With a mind full of thoughts, gurgling thoughts, will it be possible for us to enter into silence? So it's just simply quoting will not help us. How can I enter into that beautiful word Vishade? Vishade tadanandaram. Jnatva. So in another word, we have to prepare ourselves. In our case, when we take to Ram Naam chanting, we should know that the Ram Naam is to quieten the mind and then slowly enter into the inner chamber to feel his presence. Every time we should connect it with Ram Naam, otherwise, we may not be able to understand. Because Ram Naam is something which we have been doing it all these years. Now we know that there are some areas where we have to improve, our perspective should be improved, our approach should be improved, because we have not really got the benefit of it. So every satsang enables us to refine our method, refine our formula, so that our Ram Naam becomes more and more effective. So this particular sloka says, Bhakriya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishade tadanandaram. By devotion, one knows me in reality, what and who I am, and then having known me in reality, one forthwith enters into me. So when we read this, we are connecting up Ram Naam. By devotion, we are trying to, through the attributes, we are trying to dwell on him, what and who I am. You are in the form of life force in me, you are making me to chant, you are making me to hear, you are making me to think. So when I start dwelling on these lines, slowly I am entering into him. When Papa said you are chanting the name of one who is within you, who is making you to chant. So when I keep on drilling, in my mind to find out this, he is making me to chant. That means he is now, here and now. Then again, one more inward step. Who is telling that he is making me to stand? He is making me to chant. Like that we go deeper and deeper, deeper, and then there won't be any question or answers. So like that, every chapter we try to connect it with our sadhana. Otherwise, in Malayalam we say Ellum Pacharim. The till is blackish. blackish, and pachari means it will be white. When it is joined together, it will be separate. So in Malayalam we say, Ellum pachariyum pole. So similarly, we will be reading this, we will be doing some sadhana, it has no relation. That is not what is expected. We should know Papa made us to take up this Gita only to improve our, only to refine our, only to make our sadhana more and more effective. This is not divorced from our sadhana. Kindly think about it. The whole time spent between this 3:30 to 4:30, it is to give us a boost, a push, a fillip. Otherwise, what happens? This we hear, it will be, something will be memorized, and as usual, we will be chanting without trying to. Yesterday, Mataji's we read out, no? What is it?
Mansion, we are afraid to
Yes,
enter.
Swamiji.
Ah.
Mansion, mansion.
Ah.
Papa's mansion.
What does it mean?
Me and my brain are not ready to give up.
What does it mean? Papa's mansion means the eternal mansion. That means inside. She was talking about the inward journey. From outside we praise them and then go away without entering into the inner chamber. So that means outwardly we are chanting Ram Naam, but it is not going inward.
Without understanding his teachings and not following his teachings. That means not entering into the mansion.
When we have bhakti, we don't have to understand the meaning. Bhakti is linking ourselves to God. Nama is to link ourselves with God. So since we don't have that bhakti, these are all, we are doing some additions by which, we train our mind, tune our mind, educate our mind. So that is these stanzas, when we read, kindly try to connect it up with our own sadhana, so that it won't be felt as separate. That is why when we ask any point, we are unable to connect up, because that was only a mental exercise. Whereas if it is linked to our daily sadhana, we will remember something. We may not be able to remember our slogas or something. Something we will remember, That is the take-home message. So we will come to 57 now. Chetasa sarvakarmani mayi sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya machitta satatam bhava. Resigning mentally all deeds into me, again, having me as the highest goal, resorting to buddhi yoga, fix your mind on me. Buddhi yoga, that's what we are trying now. Sri Krishna says, Chetasa sarvakarmani mayi sanyasya matparaha. Mentally dedicating all your actions to me. Dedicating oneself also to me. Not merely Ram Naam, the chanter. Not only the action but also yourself as the person should be dedicated to me. Renounce all actions mentally. Do not abandon work, go on doing work, but mentally renounce all actions. Working, yet not working. The burden of work, the tension of work, will not come. Buddhi yoga upashritya, taking the help of Buddhi yoga, we should develop this yoga buddhi or Buddhi yoga. With that yoga buddhi, we can live our life doing all actions. By that, we will not at all be bound. We should do all work but mentally renounce it. We can be free through that. That is the promise in the second chapter. Two types of people are there. The ascetic people who renounce all actions and try to realize Brahman. And second one, people who have to work here in society and yet realize the highest. Can they do it? Yes. I tell you, says Sri Krishna. How? Resort to Buddhi Yoga. That is the language Krishna uses. Two types of yogas are there, Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga. My Buddhi Yoga is for people who have work in their hand, live in the world, yet who love to achieve spiritual development. To them I give this philosophy of comprehensive spirituality. Beautiful word. At least these words, if it gets imprinted, it will have tremendous impact. Comprehensive spirituality. Not a part. We go to temple, we go to ashram, we chant Ram Naam, we do bhajan, we do swadhyay, we attend satsang, one side. The other one, we lead a family life, professional life, social life. And then when we combine these two, it becomes comprehensive spirituality. This particular word, if everyone gets registered in their mind, that would be very good. Not one-sided. While dealing with, again we will read, two types of people are there. One is people who have dedicated to lead a sannyasa life, where there are no activities. Fully leading a contemplative life, withdrawn from all activities. With barest minimum needs to maintain the body. That is why in good old days they resort to Himalayas. And some annakshatra will be there to provide them simple food twice a day. Rest of the time, sadhakas enter into absolutely a contemplative life. Going within in an undisturbed way. Just like Papa lived in the hill in Tiruvannamalai, 21 days. Not talking to anybody, not connecting with anybody, communicating with anybody, not interested in anything. That is one part. Another one is like all of us. People who have to work in society and they also want the highest. Can they do it? Yes. Everybody was under the impression that spirituality is reserved only to such people who have receded from the common run of life. But with the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, that delusion has been smashed. Yes, it is possible. How? Resort to Buddhi Yoga. My Buddhi Yoga is for people who have to work in the world, live in the world, and yet who love to achieve spiritual achievement, spiritual development. To them, I give this philosophy of comprehensive spirituality. So in one way, our Naam, Seva, Dhyaan is a comprehensive spirituality. Nama is to remember him, since nobody will be able to chant the whole of their waking time in chanting. And God has given them family, profession, society, and one has to engage oneself, but at the same time, we can remember him, by dedicating everything to Him, by going to the source of everything. In that way, we are trying to remember. Even now, when we are talking, the language, I did not bring the language. He made somebody to think about the language and gave it to me. I did not bring out a printed book, or I did not manufacture a laptop. I did not produce a mic. So similarly in everything, he has, through some of his creation, chosen instruments, he has given us this, he has given us this. So that means we are trying to remember even while apparently we are in various activities. It can be household activities, it can be professional activities, it can be social activities. Gita is addressed to them. Comprehensive spirituality. While dealing with those verses, I had told the Buddhi that the psychic energy in a human being, which has been thoroughly trained, disciplined and purified, it has become a luminous instrument for human development. The same psychic energy functions through the sensory system. I see, I hear, I do all this, I think, I make a will of my own. All this is psychic energy functioning in different ways. To start with, we had not refined it. A little refinement gives us ordinary character energy. Still more refinement gives one this buddhi. Highly refined psychic energy is buddhi. It is luminous and has a tremendous impact, tremendous power, so that obstacles vanish before that buddhi. Because along with intellect, there is also that willpower. Buddhi is integrated intelligence and willpower. Buddhi has been defined as integrated intelligence and willpower. It is also purified, so it cannot do harm to anybody. It can only do good. And that is the concept of buddhi in its highest development in Vedanta. Chetasa sarvakarmani mayi sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya matchitta satatam bhava. So Sri Krishna stressed this point earlier, buddhau sharanam anvicha. Take refuge in buddhi. Through buddhi one can achieve everything. Whenever I want to bless anybody, I help him or her to achieve that buddhi yoga, says Sri Krishna. They come to me through the help of the buddhi, so evolve the buddhi. Any character development is the product of this evolution of buddhi. 5% buddhi must be there for you to have ordinary character. A good citizen doing service to the people in his or her department of work exhibits character. That person has achieved a certain measure of this evolution of buddhi out of his or her psychic energy system. And this evolution can go on expanding further and further and purifying, so that when it comes to the purest state, one gets this buddhi yoga. It is by one's own effort that one refines the energy within. I have used the word refine again and again in several Sundays. As we refine crude oil and produce beautiful petroleum products, even so, the human mind should be able to refine one's own experiences and bring out of them beautiful character products. What are they? Efficiency in action, concern for others, tremendous peace of mind. Buddhi yoga should enable us to refine our thoughts, refine our thoughts means, dedicating to Him, not to a form or name, but to His creation. So it expresses in the form of efficiency in action, concern for others, tremendous peace of mind. Peace of mind inwardly And whatever we do becomes sarva bhuta hiterata. It will be beneficial for everybody who is with whom he makes us to come in contact with. Yoga buddhi is a buddhi which is in tune with the divine. Because just behind this buddhi is the Atman. The senses are far away, but the buddhi is the nearest. Shankaracharya calls buddhi as Nedistam Brahma, nearest to Brahman. In our own system, in all of us, there is the divine. That is the first teaching of Vedanta. Vivekananda puts it, each soul is potentially divine. If so, how shall we manifest it? Senses are far away, so don't depend upon the senses. Senses must be controlled and disciplined and be subject to this buddhi, reason, or enlightened intelligence. Therefore, evolution of buddhi is the way to character. When we speak of value-oriented education, it only means we are helping the student to evolve that kind of buddhi. We begin with 5%, then climb to 10% and go on further. When people understand this teaching, they will develop the same energy, they will purify it and socialize it more and more, making it a suhrit, a friendship towards all. Mutual love and what Papa said? Eh? That also we don't read. It is there as we enter, So that what is practiced within the walls?
Example, set an example.
Mutual love and service, you remember? These are all Papa's golden words, We are not asking you to read to remember the words, but the theme behind it. The ideal which the ashram holds before it is universal love and service, based upon a vision of divinity in all beings and creatures in the world. Here every man, woman or child, to whatever denomination, creed or caste the person may belong, shall have free access. This is a place where every effort will be made to cultivate the spirit of mutual love and service. Those of us who are here, those of us who are here, we try to live up to this so that the visiting devotees will also learn this. We should set an example. This is a place where every effort will be made to cultivate the spirit of mutual love and service so that what is realized within its walls may prove as an example for the right conduct of human life in the outside world. This is the outcome of the refinement. When I go through the purpose for which I have been drawn here by Papa, when he makes me to chant Ram Naam and carry on with whatever Seva work he assigns, I should constantly think the purpose is to experience the divinity, experience the divinity in all, so that I will be able to slowly expand from the me and mine and ultimately fix the goal of universal love and service. And when I try to do this, automatically nothing else comes from me except love. And with that love, when it is expressed, it comes as service. So mutual love and service then becomes my nature, so that anybody who comes here, they will also try to get it. And then when they go out, it will help them in dealing with men and matters more effectively. This is what Papa envisaged on 15th May 1931. That is why God made him to set up this ashram. And you and I are here for that purpose. This should not be, we should not forget all these words, precious words. So refinery, that's why we remember. Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga only will help us to understand all this. Then, from there we move Matchitta Sarva Durgani Mat Prasadat Tarishyasi Atachetvam Ahankarad Nashreshyasi Vinamshati. This is a very important slogan. He wants, fixing your mind on me, Matchitta. You shall, by my grace, overcome all obstacles, but if from self-conceit you will not hear me, you may perish. Such a person will overcome all difficulties and troubles in life because of that union with the divine. There will be no trouble when the mind is united with the divine. Shankaracharya comments on Sarva Durgani. Durga means troubles. Troubles and difficulties in daily life. In our samsara, one has to face many difficulties. And to give us the strength to face them, we have this teaching, be one with the divine. We will then have a tremendous energy coming to us. An ordinary bank draws plenty capital from Reserve Bank. Nobody can run down that ordinary bank because the Reserve Bank is behind it. So when we have the infinite one behind us, we will be useful, we will be full of resource. We will not run out of resource. Mat prasada tarishyasi. Through my grace, you shall cross over all difficulties because you have become one with me. You are able to overcome all these ups and downs in life. Actually, the word Durga also means a fort, a high mountain, fort. A place difficult to access is called Durga. Also, Durga is a name of the Divine Mother. One who helps you to cross over difficulties is Durga Devi. Sri Krishna is telling this to Arjuna because he had said in the last verse, I am not going to fight. It is to make Arjuna understand the situation and to make him do his duty that Sri Krishna started his instructions from the 2nd chapter. Now we are coming back to that once again. Atachetvam ahankarat. Nashroshyasi vinakshasi. If through your ego you won't listen to me, you will be in trouble. If through your strong ego you don't listen to what I say for your own welfare, you will be lost. That is the warning given by Sri Krishna to Arjuna. You have a fat ego which says, I am not going to follow these teachings. Well, it is up to you. You will be in trouble. You will get lost in life. you will get destroyed. If you don't do the right thing, naturally you will suffer. Why do we do so? Because of the fat ego. Because of our own pet aversions, pet attachments, we hold on to that. Ego is one which attracts all sorts of pet opinions. We don't care for another person's point of view. It is good to be able to listen to another person also. One of the beautiful things we have been told in all the ancient books is listen to listen. Learn to listen. Do not always talk. Listening is a great art. There are people who can never listen. They will only talk. They will only advise others or dictate to others. Learn also to listen. Otherwise, we will be in trouble. And so, it is that fat ego that stands between us and other people, between us and ego, between us and God. That ego has to be attenuated, made smaller and weaker, so that the real self shines. Ego must be transcended. It is the supreme teaching in all ethics and spiritual life. The fattening of ego is only good when one is a baby or a child. After that, the thinning of the ego is one man's work. This fat ego can make life miserable. One can't live with other people. How many times we have discussed this subject of transformation from the ego of individuality to the tremendous concern for other people coming through personality development. When an individual becomes a person, beautiful word. When an individual becomes a person, he or she can dig affections in other people. Otherwise, one keeps colliding with others. That ego has to be handled by every person. Strengthen it, then overcome it. That second stage is the most important stage for character development. If you don't follow these beneficent words, you will be destroying yourself. I am not dictating you. I am giving you a piece of wisdom. It is for you to decide. That comes later. Yad ahangaram ashritya nayoshya iti manyase nityesha vyavasayaste prakristvam niyokshati. If filled with self-conceit, you think I will not fight, vain is this resolve. Your prakriti will constrain you to do it. If you resort to your egoistic attitude and do not care for anybody's advice, and if with that attitude you think I am not going to fight, that resolve of yours is vain. Why? Because your very nature will make you fight. You have got that nature within you. That rajas will make you work. I have seen many people who have given up their family lives and have gone to a holy place and they built up a family in that place in no time. That rajas is there. What is the use of giving up this family? The wife tells the husband, you have to beg from many houses in that life of the recluse. You get it all in one house here. Perfectly right. The Rajasic samskara is there in you. You will create a samsara if you go even to a forest resort. So your own prakriti, your own nature, your own swabhava will compel you to do it. Swabhavajena kauntaya nibaddha svena karmana kartrum nechasi enmohad karishye sevashopitat. Fettered by your own karma, born of your own nature, what you desire not to do, you shall have to do it in spite of yourself. This all of us can understand, no explanation is necessary. Many a time we make a resolve, but we are unable to hold on to it. Because our nature, our swabhava is like that. Bound by his or her own karma. Then Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridesh Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yandra Ruthani Mayaya. Again he comes back. The Supreme Lord, who is Arjuna, dwells in the hearts of all beings, causing all beings by his Maya to revolve as if mounted on a machine. In this verse comes the beautiful teaching which Sri Krishna had said earlier. There is a divine hidden in all of us. God in Vedanta is present in the hearts of all and not somewhere above the sky. That very famous verse comes here, something like this had come earlier also in the chapter 7 and 9. Now he says, Ishvara Sarva Bhudanam, Hriddesh, Arjuna Tishtati. Arjuna, in the hearts of all beings, there is Ishvara, the supreme being. Of all beings, including the insects, worms, animals, in the heart, everyone there is divine. They cannot understand this truth, but a human being can understand the truth and realize it. That is the difference between the human being and other beings. God is present. Take refuge in Him alone.
Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam.
Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam. So here one more important thing is, we should know that we start our life expressed as I. No? Think about the days. First, I want this, and we do all things. Finally, we learn that it is not I, but only he. Me to me, me to we to him. So this stanza, even if we forget this stanza, if this comes before us, because everything has been given to us by him, everything has been provided to us by him, everything has been facilitated by him to us. So though we unknowingly started to say I, now we know that he. That is the last language of spiritual life. Please get it imprinted in our heart. This is the last language. What is the last language? Not I, but he. Not I, but he. That is the last language of spirituality. Spiritual life. That is the nature of the divine grace. There we are entirely under the inspiration of divine grace. Lord alone is, nothing else is there. Some of the beautiful verses deal with this experience of total surrender. The I completely vanishes, as it were. That is a high state, but all can attain that high state when this long march of human evolution finds its consummation. We have a will, no? We fight with the world and try to establish our hegemony over this world with this will. And a time comes when we realize that this will is meant to be surrendered to that supreme will. This not only comes in mystical literature of the world religion, but also in German, English, other literature. In the next verse, Sri Krishna himself is telling, I have done my work. I have given you my best. You are free to accept it or reject it. This is a wonderful way of teaching where there is a responsible feeling in the student. He or she is not made a creature. He or she can decide for himself or herself. The best teachers are of this nature. They don't take away the freedom of the student. They give freedom to the student to select, to accept, to reject. This process, if you go deep, we go back to Papa's word, don't take Ramdas's word straight. Unless it is you get an inner sanction from it, don't follow. What does it mean? That means we have to Correct. That means though we say freedom has been given, actually it is not that. We are trying to assimilate this, interpreting to ourselves in the language in which we know it. We are reading somebody's language, somebody's word. Yadechasi tata guru. But if it has to have its real meaning to us, we stop, we pause for a moment, go within, find out whether there is an alignment. No? Otherwise, we will not be able to follow. That inner alignment comes only by plumbing deep within. Because basically, essentially, intrinsically, we are that. We are bliss absolute, we are potentiality absolute, we are creativity absolute, we are peace absolute, but we have forgotten. So when...
This has given a boost to our chanting. Because although you've been always telling that you've been made to chant.
Correct.
Now we understand that we are being guided at every step.
Each scientist, each discovery or invention or innovation, it has come only because of this inner guidance. He takes something within himself, a new software, how it is developed, whatever that is there, but they have to sit and go on trying. And then it clicks. Think about it. Right from our cooking upma or idli or dosha, the first person who conceived, and later on how we started improving it. No? Suppose, for example, we feel that dosha was the first one. Then the chapati must have come, chuka roti must have come, aloo paratha. See, just imagine. Not simply following somebody's. Each one brings out their own, no? By dwelling deep within, by trial and error. An ordinary dough for a chapati, ordinary dough for a chuka roti, ordinary dough for this or that, From that, the person who is responsible, God whom he chose. It all came from intelligence only inside. Probing nature, inquisitive nature. Something new should come out it. Potentiality, creativity. All these things will come only when I relate myself to my inner content. So here, Sri Krishna, though he took nearly 640 shlokas, sorry, 663 means 78 and 15, 685 slogas, out of which you delete 40 or 50 slogas to Arjuna. There are roughly about 600 slogas he was dwelling on the various facets of blending our workaday life, daily life with spirituality. 600 slogas to harmonize our life with spirituality. And such a persevering effort he did. And then finally he says, Itite jnanamakyatam guhya guhyataram maya vimrshaitya dasheshena yatechasi tatakur. Thus as wisdom, more profound than all profundities, has been declared to you by me, reflecting over it fully, act as you like. Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, I have communicated to you jnanam. It actually means philosophy, wisdom. The English word philosophy also means wisdom. I have communicated to you the lamp of knowledge with which you can find your way. This is the nature of jnana. In ajnana or ignorance, we commit blunders. In darkness, we fall into pits. If there is jnana or light, we don't fall into any pit. And so what we ask is jnana, the light of knowledge. Itite jnanam akhyata. Guhyad guhyadaram maya. I have communicated to you this profoundest of all knowledge. Guhya means highly profound, deep. This is extremely deep, deeper than the deep and or the deepest. Here comes the great teacher's mind. Try to think over what I said and decide for yourself your course of action. The teacher does not dictate what the student should do. A good teacher can tell you what the student should do. A good teacher can tell you what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is false. Make your mind grasp those ideas. Then it is left to you to take your own decisions. There is no compulsion. So that is real philosophy, no kind of sermonizing or forcing people to accept a code of conduct. Highly cultured people need only a little understanding of things. They know how to decide for themselves. Therefore, Sri Krishna uses this wonderful expression, as you think proper, you do. So here we have the idea of teaching at the highest level of Indian spiritual education. A teacher will first of all not teach unless somebody asks for it. Simple gratis advice is not given in spiritual life. We must ask for it, we must seek it, otherwise it has no value. So here in this verse, we can see this idea. And in this, when we read this, we look upon ourselves. Why is it that we have not been able to actualize? We have not given them the value, to be blunt. We must ask for it. We must seek it. Otherwise, it has no value. So here in this verse, we can see this idea. And in the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter, we see the counterpart. There Arjuna is telling Sri Krishna, please throw some light on my problem. I want your help. I want your guidance. I am your student. Karpanya dosha bhagata svabhavaha. I have become confused and broken down by narrow attachment and aversions. Dharma sammuda cheta. My mind is confused as to what is my duty, and therefore pruchami tvam. I ask you, Krishna, for guidance in this matter. Please think about what is really good for me. Advise me. Yashreya syat nishchitam bruhi tanme. Shishyaste aham shadimam tvam prapannam. What you think is good for me, decide it and tell me. I am your student, your disciple. Teach me, who has taken refuge in your superior wisdom. My wisdom is failing me here. Your superior wisdom will help me. So that means we should have that, what do you call it? The intense aspiration to know more, no? So in the 2nd chapter, when he says that is why Lord Krishna opened up all these 600 slokas. You and I are unable to assimilate because the real aspiration is yet to come. Because our mind is preoccupied with so many things in which we have this, though not in an intense way, that is why we are unable to retain. No? We are not seeking. We are hearing, but we are not seeking. Please think about it. We should seek. Here the Lord beautifully brings it out. We must ask for it. We must seek it. Otherwise, it has no value. At the moment, God has made us to get preoccupied with so many things. But by His grace, He has also given us something. Sometimes Ram Naam, some bhajan, some satsang, something. Then when we look at it, why is it that I have not been able to go ahead with the expected speed? So here is the answer. I have not approached the Lord, that I am your student. Please guide me. I am not seeking, So there are 6 verses even before that particular verse, and all the verses of the first chapter also. But the actual teaching portion begins only from the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter. The teacher begins to teach only when he or she finds the student prepared to listen and accept. That is why in all Indian spiritual tradition we find that one goes to the teacher, he or she does not talk about these great matters unless we are serious about it. Unless we put a question and wait for an answer. The teacher will talk about the weather and such other matters, that's all. But we have to ask. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is a masterly Upanishad, and Shankaracharya's commentary on it is also a masterly. There Shankaracharya says, Shastram Nyapakam Natukarakam. Shastra or science is only informative, not forcing you to do it. It is not karakam. It merely says this is the truth. You try to live it according to your own inclination. Modern science will say there is the nature of health. Such foods will give you health. Such foods will not give you health. This is nyapakam. But science does not force you to take this or that food. It is up to you. So all knowledge is like that. Information gives you knowledge about a subject, then your impulse will convert it into action, good, bad, or indifferent. It all depends upon your own mental state. So here Sri Krishna gives that freedom to the student to deal with the communicated knowledge in the way the student desires or thinks proper. That is the meaning of this great verse. So it ends in 63 and a few more slokas. Vinobaji puts it in a more sweeter way. He says he gives this freedom, and because of his concern for Arjuna, he takes back that freedom. Because later on he will say, you dedicate everything to me, I will take care. Sarvadharman parityaja. You don't worry about anything. He gives you a freedom, then out of his love for him, he takes back. And Vinobaji then beautifully mentions that you need a freedom where you don't need a freedom. When I am with my parents, as a child, I don't need a freedom because they will take care of me, in letter and spirit. So similarly, I have to hand over myself to God so that the freedom, I don't need any freedom because I am absolutely secure, safe in them, in their hands. So Vinobaji puts it like that. So we have come up to this stage where all of us have been given the option to think and then accept it. So that means even in our dealings with others, if this is there, we will not assert. Assertion is the one which ends in controversy, ends in so many things. You have freedom. Similarly, you respect the freedom of others. When drafting the Constitution of India, they brought what all rights we have. And later on, after 20-25 years, they also brought in the duties, because it has to be explicit. And then we come to understand what is the duty. My duty is to recognize or accept the rights of others. We had shared, here, we were going to Sabarimala in a jeep many decades back from Wayanad. A lot of people were there in the jeep. When we reached Calicut, there was a, what do you call that? Traffic triangle. Unknowingly, the driver overlooked it. He bypassed that, what do you call it? No,
Signal.
Not signal. There will be a island, triangle. So where the vehicle should not go like this, it should go like this and then go, to avoid accidents. So this man, when unknowingly did it, the police stopped him, asked him to bring his driving license. So we were all there, 10-15 people. Something was going on, so we thought probably we will go and request him. So we went there to the police, and then the constable, we asked him, sir, we are going to Sabarimala. We know that, I did not talk to you, please wait. And then he gave a left and right to this driver. You know what for this traffic island has been created? 15 people are traveling, having their faith in you, that you will take them safely to Sabarimala. When you violate this, suppose from the other side, when the vehicle comes, what will happen? It is not for police, it is not for traffic rules. It is for your own safety and the safety of your own passengers. Do you understand? So duty is that, recognizing others' rights. So then the police said, be careful, that's all. And the driver immediately apologized and told him, I will never commit this. He said, I am not going to charge sheet you or fine you. You should remember this. Then looking at us, he said, you should also be alert. Even if by any chance, by oversight, he overlooks, you should be alert. From the other side, the vehicle is coming, he has got a right to come in the right way. Suppose you violate, you are not recognizing his right. All these thoughts well up, This is how we try to connect up with our daily life. So kindly think about all these things. Up to 64, from 50 to 14, we have covered. Yesterday somebody was asking to cover from 10 to 50. We will make an attempt after completing the 64 to the end. Another 14, 15 slogas are there. And another 3-4 very important, because total surrender, he gives us a guarantee, insurance. And that was the sloga which motivated Papa also to move with that. There are 2 slogas he always quotes. Ananyas chintayanto mam yajana paryupasate tesham nitya viyukudanam yogakshemam vahamyaham sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mashucha. So that we are becoming taking it up tomorrow. So all the ideas, now if you watch for the past 3-4 days, he has been hammering of dedicating our entire life to him, trying to reduce the dominance of me and mine, me and mine, me and mine, at every level. And he will be giving us tests. He will not make us to just read and intellectually understand. The moment we go out of this hall, he will bring so many tests to check up whether we have understood this, whether we live up to this, whether we have the will to hold on to it, that dhriti, whether we have that fortitude to hold on. So let all these thoughts well up in our mind, because then only we understand that Gita is addressed to the man on the field. It is to the workaday person, not to a person sitting in a cave, but it is to you and me, a grihastha, a householder, a professional, a social being. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaskar,
Thank
namaskar.
you, Swamiji, for the witness.
Hari Om. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Pranam, everybody.
Pranam, Swamiji.
Pranam, pranam.
Pranam, Swamiji. Pushpaji, pranam. How are you? Good, I know. Lovely. कल रामनाम करेंगे ना?
हाँ, कल रामनाम करेंगे। ठीक है। तो शाम की पूरी करें। वो लिखिए स्वामी जी किस बात में स्वामी जी बताया लेकिन